Good morning, everyone. My name is Kritima Sasmupakorn. I am from grade 5/11, and today I'll perform you impromptu speech. Ajahn Sayan, could you please pick a topic for me, please?
Got it.
Okay. Thank you. Are video games bad for children? I would like to first claim that I am one of these children who addicted to games too, and I am pretty sure that most of the parents are pretty tired from telling your kids to get away from your computer, to stop playing games. I know it's pretty tiring because my dad and my mom, they did it a lot of times too. But today, because of this topic, and today I have the opportunity to speak out to all your parents and out to all your audience, I would like to inform you some of good sides of video games, because maybe it's not as bad as you think. If I have to recall back to my games in my childhood, I would be thinking of puzzle games. And that helps me with a lot of, times when I have to doing something like very rushed, and then I have to spot like the differences. But that's not just it. I have this one game too that is very interesting. It's called SimCity. The SimCity games helps me do a planning of overall city, because I have to build and take care of my own city. That helps me manage my resources. And by that, when you have to buy something in the games, I also developed my math skills. It helps me think and calculate maths faster than I could ever be. I know it's pretty funny, but it actually happens.
ใครพูดเยอะที่สุด
It also
ในการแสดงชุด
helps
ต่อไป
me to concentrate. When we're playing game, we have to pay a lot of attention or focus on it, right? Well, that's what happened to me, is that I get concentrated, and it turns out I have a good result about it. But that's not just it. It also helps, when you're playing games, your hands and your eyes both are working. So it's like a hand-eye coordination. When your hands are doing something with the keyboard, your eyes are looking at the screen, like shooting games. That's what happened. And, when you think it couldn't get any better, well, it does. You see, there's this one news that really impressed me. I read it about several years ago. It's about a kid, grade 1, just grade 1. He's not even a high school, but he drove his grandpa to school. He drove his grandpa to hospital because his grandpa has suffered from heart attack. And come on, how could a grade 1 drive a grandpa to hospital, right? Well, he's able to do that because he often played this racing game a lot. And by that, when you think about it, the child, what can video games do to these children? Well, I'm telling you, the biggest demand in the world right now is something that related to computer technology, right? So when you're talking about video games, thinking about video games is like an online platform kind of stuff, your kids like activities. And I think that would be helping a lot with the modern technologies, something that most of demands are getting at right now. And that's not just it. From what I learned from myself and a lot of my friends who used to play games too, there's a lot more games than we think. There's an educational games like math games, crosswords. That's when you think of video games, there's not just going to be in plain ordinary games where you think your kids will be wasting time with. No. By that, whenever I play it, I feel confident and I have a good and high self-esteem. Every time I finish the high level, I am able to nail it perfectly as I mastered the game. And that really helps me. And also, because there's nothing to lose in virtual world, that helps me kind of embrace the risks that whatever is going to happen, I am able to take it all. And by taking all the risks, I now came to think that I think faster, I make decision faster. Because, as you know, taking risk is something that we can able to get rid of. And, however, I know that you guys are kind of worried that your kids will be sitting in front of a computer all day. Well, it improves your kids' health. How? My friend has this Wii game. You have to be active while playing it. You have to dance along with it too. And for the eyesight, if you're afraid that your kids will be staring at the screen too much, there's this kind of game that improve eyesight too. You know, your kids will be able to read faster and more accurate. There's this game too, a spot differences. You know, when they show two pictures and then there's going to be a little details that different from the other one. And that helps me a lot too. Very concentrating. And speaking of this, I would like to encourage y'all that sometimes video games is not as scary as we think. There's a lot more to do with video games than more of us scared of. But it's not good also if we having our kids spending time with it too much. They should know the limit when to stop. Okay, and I would like to end my speech with this kind of thought that my parents kind of taught me, is that there's a lot more to live than just a screen. Out there, outside the door, there's a lot more for you to experience. And if you are able to do that, to manage the time between playing games and find benefit out of it, and also enjoying the outside world. Because sometimes, you know, playing games are better than dealing with drugs, alcohol, or whatever is so-called the harshness in the real world. If you're just stepped out there and be able to manage both the timetables that are in a good proportion and will bring good to you, well then, you already won the game of life. Thank you.